Let's talk about the tree of life that is you, the tree of life that is me. The tree of life is literally our nervous system. It is our spine. It is our divine line. And by rebalancing and restoring our deeply rooted and balanced nervous system, we activate grids on the planet. We align with the elemental yin in ourselves and all around us. It helps us connect easier with the unified field that is all around us. There's this emerald green light and energy and plasma, all of it. It's all around us all the time. It's our ability to be able to connect, to be able to breathe, because we're not separate. But there are times, if you are holding your breath, if your nervous system is dysregulated, if there's all kinds of trauma and things that are kind of washing up through the being and body, it makes it hard to kind of get that synapse, that connection. And that connection of your tree of life is also what allows you to feel the deepest amount of peace, whole and secure, all the things that you naturally are. It's only a misconception of being kind of disconnected or temporarily just not in alignment with the wholeness that you are. And being that I've done so much in the sense of body work, not only my own personal practice with massage and body work, but cranial sacral body work has been huge. And it's probably the only thing that I still will offer to ones. As much as I honor all the different modalities, I think they're fantastic. Acupuncture, all the healing arts. But what I noticed for myself personally, the more I aligned with the tree of life and I activated my divine line, I walk in the authority of my royalty, and my royalty is connected to the tree of life that is me, and that is embodied. It is all the nerve endings, if you picture it, all the nerve endings, and the roots of your hair going up your divine line into your crown, and then flooding all the way back down, like running your light through that system, and acknowledging that it is really the root. It is the basis for everything else in your embodiment. Yeah, it's really, really important. There's also when people talk even about Kundalini, right? Your Kundalini, activate at the base of your spine. There are 8 original cells at the base of your spine, which is literally like where our body comes from. It's where we're made. It's our DNA. It holds those 8 original cells. It holds the original divine blueprint of our soul. Those 8 original cells located at the base of your spine. And for anybody that's really tripping and that's like, oh, and the tree of life and good and evil and whatever, I have no use for any of that story. Yeah, that's not what I'm talking about. And if that does resonate with you and you're on a different track with that, go listen somewhere else, yeah? Don't even interrupt your own nervous system and your own being, bringing anything or anyone into your field that is not a resonant match or vibration. It doesn't serve you, because if it's not true for you, it's simply not true, right? So let's keep it moving. But the 8 original cells at the base of your spine is the foundation for your soul. It's the foundation for where your DNA comes from. So that Kundalini activation, to me, even that Kundalini activation, that's activating your inner dragon. Yeah. This is the year of the dragon, right? Which I love, right? I love all the different aspects in the sense of Chinese, hey, hey, hey. in, I might have to pause here. Hey. In Chinese medicine, it's the year of the dragon. And to me, it's activating also our inner dragon. Yeah, the dragon that lies in ourselves. It's who we are. It's part of who we be. It's part of the elemental yin. And I feel like that's also something that who's they? But there's ones at play that like to demonize certain things. Let's cause fear. Let's cause the serpent energy or dragon energy to be feared and like, oh no, don't go there. Only go down. Go all the way into the depths of your original, your God body. Your OG, your original God body, and access the divine blueprint of your soul. Because it holds all the energies. And that's your inner dragon. And it's not outside of you, This is where, too, again, I do love the support that we have. The support that we have in just on so many levels. We've got so much support, not only from ourselves, our A teams, the ones, that are working with us in the sense of our guides and planetary ascension and all of that. But all of it has also been very adamant and clear. It's like you have to come in. The ascension is actually inscension, as in you come into your body, you embody, and you allow yourself to acclimate, to recalibrate, and to not deny the fire that's in your belly. Do not deny the energy, the God body that you are. Yeah, because every time you're putting outside yourself, and it's like, oh, okay, and you're trying to connect. Even sometimes when people say, oh, my higher self, and it's like they're trying to go up and out of their bodies, and I literally can watch the fields around their body when they're doing that. I'm like, well, now you just lost it. You have to come in. You come into your body. The kingdom of heaven is within you. It is not outside. Even in the sense of your partner of light. Yeah, it's you. It's you, and it has to be in wholeness and a holistic aspect. So your earthly embodiment, here's your physical vessel, here's your body. Your higher self, in order to be whole, you have to do the human side, the human physical body vessel, 180 degrees. Yeah, but what makes wholeness? 360. So that other half of yourself, your partner in light, is your spirit. When people are praying, great spirit, you are praying and you are asking for the animation of your Holy Spirit, not the Holy Spirit. It is your Holy Spirit. Wholeness. Call it back. You need yourself to be 100% online in wholeness. And then that's where, when we start working with our physical bodies in the ways that we do, and especially if we focus on the nervous system, there's so much. Again, when I think of my practice and years when I was practicing body work, there was a place and time where literally I felt myself, because I did a lot of like deep tissue, trigger point, myofascial release. That's when I think at 19, I was really like, let's get rid of this. And like, I kind of came at even the body from a different aspect. But as I matured and I started to develop in my offerings and my own learning and my own healing, I started receiving body work and restoring my balance as just an automatic, that if I was going to be doing 25 massages a week, sometimes 5 people in a day, I needed to maintain my own physical body. So not only was I receiving acupuncture from the best of the best and massage and body work from the best of the best, then I started to delve a little bit more into shamanic cranial sacral work. And that, to me, once I got into the nervous system and I realized how much was stored, old memories, things even beyond this lifetime, which again brings us back to the 8 original cells that is our God body, that literally is, at the base of our spine, it's our seat, the seat of our soul. I literally started to take off on journeys once I started really working with the nervous system in those ways. And within, obviously learning and practicing. But then eventually, I think after about 9 years, I started getting sick of doing body work because I realized it's like their nervous system's all out of alignment and I'm wasting my time. I'm wasting my energy. And of course, I was also going into different realms in the sense of, my ancestry and my roots in the sense of trance, and different things on those levels. But through the nervous system, so easy and pristine to access. If there are things out of alignment, or if it's coming from another lifetime, or, just in general, I go to the river of light, the cerebral spinal fluid, the cranial sacral fluid, the fluid that has its own river, its own wave that totally encases and surrounds your brain and spinal cord. It's amazing. It's amazing. And I do remember, it's funny, I remember, working on a client. I think it was probably in the last year before I closed my practice. And I remember working on someone, and my guides, I always, regardless of what I'm doing, there's always ones that work and I work with, right? Because I don't walk alone and I don't work alone. It's just what it is. But I remember some from my A team, I was really putting a lot of effort to kind of break up this, this area where there was this blockage and congestion. And I heard my guide say, stop, sit down. And literally, okay, so I mean, if I was your massage therapist and I'm working on you and you see me sitting down in the chair, what would you think? Right? This was the beginning. This was obviously more than 20 years ago. More than 20 years ago. I was just flashing with time. It seems like, is it really that long? Yeah, my son's 19. If I think 9, more than 20 years ago. So I listened. This is also part of the experiment for me, or was part of the experiment at the time, that it's like I felt myself moving in other realms and dimensions and wanting to explore more in the sense of trance and energy work, especially the shamanic cranial sacral and the activations that I was receiving and doing my own work, but also in that trying to kind of make that shift with clients that had been seeing me since I was 19 years old for she's awesome at deep tissue and all of these things, and they're like, this is why, and prenatal massage and all of that. Yeah, absolutely. But wanting to make the shift, and my guide said, sit down, take your hands off the body, right? Back away from the scene. And I sat down in the chair. The person was face down on the massage table. And then literally I watched these light technicians, these beings, these elementals, these earth elementals come in and literally almost like bees. They came in and they were like, zzz, and they were aligning. They were doing all of these alignments, and they were doing a cranial sacral treatment. They were literally aligning, and they worked so fast. And my energy, it was almost like, girl, can you back up? You're in the way. Back up. We have stuff to do, and you're taking too much energy, and this is where too, now the way that I work now, even when I do Shakti pots and when I do other aspects, I know how to get in and work in those ways and that energy without having to use the physical brute force and strength, which again, even when you realize with the nervous system, it has nothing to do with pressure, and it's about alignment. It connects with your breath, the fluid, all of it is in alignment. But I remember as I'm sitting in the chair, I can see it as clear as day, as I was sitting in the chair for the first time, and I'm watching what happens when you balance not only yourself, and you also listen, right? But when it's talking about restoring your elemental yin and your connection to all of the forces within the unified field, yeah, that are all around us all the time, the access we have to them and the assistance. They are here to serve. They are here to be of service. They are happy to be of service. Yeah, they want to be put to work. So I'm sitting in the chair watching them, literally these light technicians, kind of in the form of bees, and just the way they buzzed around. And the client was sitting down and he said, I don't understand how your hands are on my head, but I'm feeling you also at my feet. What's happening? Like literally. And I'm sitting in the chair. I wasn't touching them. Yeah. But then that's also where then they also instructed me how to hold the line. Yeah. So I connect with my own divine line and I can do it from a distance. And so I was sitting down and I didn't say anything. I said, just relax. It's okay. Do you know? Because again, I was still learning too. That was like a huge initiation for me. That was the first time I actually saw with my eyes, right? With my two eyes, not my first eye. I saw with my eyes these beings. Now I see it with my first eye. Now I feel and I can, and I can move in those realms very, very easily. And I know when to step in and I know when to step back and I know the assistance that I need as well. It's absolutely fantastic. But it all goes back to our tree of life, yeah, and the nervous system and those elemental beings that were working with me and then also with the client at that time. They weren't sitting there doing like any deep tissue, like something. And now again, I'm not saying anything against it because I just received a massage, I still absolutely love all forms of healing arts and body work. But I feel like for a lot of people, there's so much that is being caught in a dysregulated nervous system that is what, and at least to me, this is also what, they're calling forth. And they're saying, restore your elemental yin and your connection and your remembrance, your connection to the unified field. And the fact that it's you're calling in all of these aspects in total wholeness. Yeah. And that you're here. You are absolutely here. Your body, your God body, holds all energies. It's your dragon body, your light body, all of it. And you're here on a fully locked and loaded and funded mission. But you cannot bypass the tree of life that is you. And the serpent energy, if you guys are demonizing it, it's like, oh, the serpent. And you still have these old texts that are running with misinformation through your mind and being about what it is or your higher self being separate from you, God being outside of you. I think even sometimes there's disempowerment when we ask and we say, okay, I'm surrender this, give it to God, give it to God. Well, what you're doing is you're handing the baton. Yeah, because in wholeness, in partnership with your partner in light, yeah, God, Goddess, absolute, yes. But you are handing the baton to your wholeness, to your other half, to your God self, to your higher self. And so you do what is for you to do. You do all that you can do on those realms. And then you pass the baton, but you are passing the baton to your God self, to your being. To me, there's a lot of energy leakage. There's a lot of stuff that's being lost. There's a lot of stuff that's being lost as people are giving their power away. And you could even ask my son many, many, many times on our walk. I would be like, call your power back. Call your power back, just in daily reality. That it's like, if you don't call your power back, then you are a victim. Yeah. And you will literally just be floating around and at the mercy of, it's worth a try to reconnect, restore your tree of life, activate your OG body, yeah? Your God body. Breathe, yeah? The breath. If you're not breathing, if you're not connected to the breath of life. I think I recorded a transmission recently on mantras and subconscious mind programming. That's out there. But I remember talking about your breath. Breath is the guru. Pavan guru. Pavan guru. Pavan Guru, Wahe Guru, your breath from beyond the beyond. Breath is the guru. And for someone who is very much present at birth and death in so many different realms and ways, and I can attest to even, my father having left his physical body, your Holy Spirit, your breath is the last thing that goes, when your last breath, when you take that last breath, that's your Holy Spirit. And it isn't the Holy Spirit as in some random energy. It is your holy, activating serpent spirit. It is your Holy Spirit. And then I think that's going to be in a different context. I will speak more about some of the fascinating things that I learned even after the very last breath of life. What then happens with the nervous system and the realms and those ways. It is so fascinating and amazing. But I think that's a different moment. I wanted to just focus on just saying a few words because there was a transmission about the elemental yin, connecting with our elemental yin. And a lot of times in the sense when we're restoring in that way, attending to our breath, our tree of life. And it's not a fallacy. Like even right now, as I'm recording this, I'm sitting in a tree, which this particular tree is called my tree. And I literally, my back, my spine, my root is in the tree. Yeah. And even at that, when you align your tree of life, when you are anchored in that way. So right now, in this present now moment, I happen to be in Wisconsin, in Menominee Falls, right? But now, shortly, I'll be on a plane and I will be returning to my beloved soul family trees in the Black Forest. But what I've noticed this past year, even in, being present anywhere that I am, as I align the tree of life that I am, right? And I connect with the trees that are around, that are, and we all have our favorites, right? This is also, trees can also be like people. There are certain friends, it's like, yes, you love all of humanity and you have compassion and unconditional love for all, the power of one, absolutely. But of course, on a level of resonance, there are certain spirits and energies that you have particular kindredness with, So me sitting in this tree, I can literally run my river of light, connect with the unified field and wholeness of all of my bodies, and just literally like Wi-Fi or a literal transmission and a signal, I can connect to my favorite mother tree in Germany. Yeah. And again, I will also speak about like this fact that it was in 2017 when I retired kind of the traveling priestess and midwife, all those aspects, world schooling mama, when I traveled when retired, right? And I landed in Germany, in Freiburg, with the Black Forest, literally in the backyard. It was the trees that helped me to restore my elemental yin, to rebalance my tree of life. It came from the trees, and there are specific entities and souls in that forest. One in particular that even right now, this was my point. I digress. That I can be sitting in this tree in Menominee Falls and I can literally align and connect and soul link with, there's the tree, her name is Amma, and the translation of that, she is I am. When I first met her, I'm like, who are you? You are amazing. She's 960 years old. She's a mother tree. She's just brings so much deeply rooted wisdoms. When I teach and sometimes when I record different things, she's one of the ones, especially if there's difficult things that are coming through. A lot of times I would find her, and sit with her, and then it would allow the transmission to come through. Or if I was holding space for, again, I work with so many different ones and different levels. Yeah, ones who are going through death and loss, adoption, relinquishment, different things in the sense of family dynamics, different things. It's just what it is. But I then would literally plug into not only my own source, right? That's also another key thing for people. I think sometimes too, people try to plug into other sources other than their own. But when you connect to your the river of light, your fluid, yeah, your own source power, yourself as source. And for the ones, the elementals that are like, they're happy to be of service and support, right? They're okay, right? Plug into also the earth. Send your energy all the way down into the core. Run your light. Send it all the way up past the suns, beyond suns. Yeah, go all the way up. It's, use your antakarana, which is also, that's the same. To me, it's the same thing. Your tree of life. It's the same thing. It's like you connect into your own source and allow yourself to be connected and remember that connection to the elements and the elementals that are here to serve and support. So anyways, Amma, the mother tree that is one of my favorite teachers in the Black Forest. And now I'm hearing some of the other ones kind of like rumble and say, what about us? Like, but everyone, they're like people, it's like you can't duplicate them. There is no competition, really. Among masters, there is no competition. And I believe that wholeheartedly. Even just with beings, it's like you can't do me. I can't do you. Certain trees, their elements, their energies, their spirits, you can't duplicate. It is as precise and unique as your fingerprint. Yeah, which again, going back to the 8 original cells that exist at the base of your spine, coiled in your kundalini serpent energy. And when you learn to move that energy freely with your breath and in connection with the unified field that surrounds you constantly, you'll experience life differently. You'll experience anything. You can literally walk through, and I've literally done this in many lands, many countries, languages, different things, where literally you center yourself, you call your power, you're sourcing from within yourself, right? All is fine. All is able to be experienced in a way that is peaceful. It doesn't mean that the world will not be going through things around you. Does not mean people will not be freaking out around you. Doesn't mean that there won't be war. There's things, right? But your ability to stay so deeply connected and rooted in your physical body while you are embodied is really important. Really, really, really important. And I still think that, I know there's like this new cage movement, and there's a lot in the sense of like sometimes this dogmatic stuff that's been overcast in like this new age movement, but in the sense of like even our ancestors and our the ones that are part of us, right? The ancestors that are a part of those 8 original cells, they're a part of our DNA. They knew that it was about bringing all of those energies into the ascension is actually inscension or descension in some ways, because you want to bring all of the energies through your antakarana and bring it all the way in through your crown, into your body, into your being, and then hook it all the way into your core and anchor that all the way down into the core of the earth, the core of the earth. It's really important. And the serpents, no fear of serpents. Serpents are amazing and about transformation and the serpent energy. If you do have fear and you have like these old dogmatic programs and there's something and it's like, oh, the serpent and that's evil and something, well, then I wish you luck, because you will always then be operating outside of your power. Because if you are not connected to the dragon elemental, the serpent energy that is within you, and that it's in the base of your spine and your cerebral spinal fluid, then you have no power. You don't have any. So you can talk all that you want and you can say and hear all of this, but then you literally have no power. So I would definitely not demonize serpent energy. And there is a reason, if you look at dragons and history and all, again, sometimes you have to go beyond. You have to look even in the sacred texts. There's many of them, yeah? But you have to pick out the core things that are true and dismiss anything that insults your soul. It is not okay to take on something that is like, it's not, that's what happens for me. Sometimes people will say something and it's like, it literally makes me want to vomit. Like, I'm like, ugh. I'm like, no, that's not my truth. And yet I'm not here to argue with anybody. I'm not here to tell you what to believe, how to align in different ways. The ones that find me and the ones that resonate, with even my ways of speaking. Sometimes, and I laugh because even when my son was little, there was times where it's like I was literally, and then I would start speaking louder, and then I would look at him and I'd look at his face and I'm like, I'm not mad. I promise I'm not angry at all. I'm just passionate. This is part of my energy that's just moving through. And as I allow it to move through me easily and without trying to contain it, there's inflections in my voice. There's different things that come out in the ways that it does. That's just part of it. Allow the energy to move freely. For the ones that are really trying and they're in different aspects of they're thinking, well, maybe people will be offended and maybe this is okay. Well, this doesn't honor all of the people who do choose religion. Even in the sense of consciousness, right? I believe even in our Christ consciousness as an essence of every single being. That's the 12th. There's a 12th dimension that is your Christed self. It is not a being that is outside of you. It is to access and activate your Christed light, your Christed consciousness, your Christed beingness. And this is outside of religion. It has nothing to do with Christianity. Even the Yeshua ben Joseph, that in my awareness and conscious field, was never about Christianity in the ways of the divisions and all the things that are happening on this plane. He was about Christedness, union, consciousness, Christedness in every single man, woman, and child on this planet. Yeah, so whether you call it Krishna consciousness, Christ consciousness, Buddha consciousness, it's the same thing. That's your Buddhic self, your Christ self. And I'm not worried about offending people. This is where the boxes that exist, and ones are like, well, what about, and da-da-da, and then they're literally just spouting off all of these scriptures and misinterpretations or living them in a way that fits for them, which again, beautiful. Yeah, I honor everybody. For me, Ma'at Ma. Ma'at says respect all altars. Yeah. And as I've traveled and as I've moved, I've lived in lands, Hindu culture, Muslim culture, Christian cultures, huge in African spirituality where there is no box of religion. There is no energy saying from the beginning. It was outside. It was an entity that and beings that came and said, here, you worship this God from this book. All of the connection that you have to the earth elementals and all nature spirits and your ancestors, all of that, throw that out the window in favor of this God that we say is God. It doesn't apply. It doesn't apply. My time in Ghana, Ethiopia, South Africa, in traditional spirituality, honoring the plants, nature, all of that, the living light, Asasya. I'm a Thursday born child, yeah? So Asasya is in Ghana, in tree of what they call Earth Mother, right? So just because you happen to live in the United States, or it's like, oh, well, okay, we're connecting with Gaia. Well, in other lands, it is Asasya. Yeah, the fact that you call Mami Wata, and then even a lot of the religions is like, oh, Mami Wata, she's this evil spirit. Mami Wata has nothing to do with that story. She has nothing to do with capturing and taking people, and that has nothing to do with the Mami Wata in her OG, her original God body essence of who she is. She is an amazing mother. She is an amazing teacher that teaches us how to flow, how to be in balance with our emotions. She is connected to all of her sisters, Yamoja, Oshun. She is connected to the all in the rivers and seas, but she has a name and a spirit and an energy and is not supposed to be like, here you go, and then cancel out all of these other beings that have been responsible as well for our earth. All of these other elemental energies, dragons and yeah, there's so many earth elementals. I mean, I bring up the dragons because I started this, my point was to talk about restoring your elemental yin, restoring your tree of life, yeah? And that when you're in balance with your own nervous system, your own river of light, your own embodiment, everything around you starts to take on a new light. You begin to see differently. You begin to feel. You can even start to feel that wave of emerald green light that is literally surrounding you. It surrounds your body. It surrounds everything. You're breathing it. It's in the air. It is green. It is heart. It is the unified field. It is so, so, so beautiful and amazing. But if you're really plugged in to so much technology and so many things and you don't have access, yeah? And it's not because, of good or bad or only certain people have access. It's just your ability to connect with your Holy Spirit, connect with your river of light, be one in wholeness with yourself, your cells, your embodiment. I dwell in the realms of mystery and magic. I know what the dragons know. I speak the language of the primordial mothers and the serpent power below.